guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today on Face Off, my question was, which one of these Doomsday Doctor Who stories do you think is better? 4 to Doomsday or Army of Ghosts / Doomsday? And of course the option of I'm not sure it's a tie was there. Most people had a choice though, with a whopping 66% saying Army of Ghosts and Doomsday was better, and 30% saying 4 to Doomsday was better, with 4% saying I'm not sure it's a tie, with 158 votes. So Modern Who winning by over 2 to 1 here, with 66% of the vote. Interesting, considering I would imagine a lot of the people who follow my channel are more Classic Who alums, so I'm never really surprised when my competitions that pit Classic and Modern head-to-head, Classic usually wins, I think. But it's nice to see, it's interesting to see Modern Who taking the win here. Now, I personally prefer 4 to Doomsday. I like both stories well enough. I like Army of Ghosts and Doomsday fine. I can nitpick things with it. Like the ending with him and Rose taking forever to say goodbye. And the bit when they try to do the Ghostbusters joke, but the music playing has nothing to do with Ghostbusters, but it's kind of supposed to. I could nitpick it. But I prefer 4 to Doomsday, which I really like. It's a good Davison story. It also has little nitpicks like the music scenes, the little dance scene numbers go on a bit too long, for example. But I prefer it over the two, but I enjoyed both. And only 4% calling it a tie, so most people had an opinion one way or another. Tedious Milkshake said 4 to Doomsday because it's the Classic series, which automatically makes it better. With an arm flex. I don't know if I go quite that far, but Colin Coney commented and said, goes without saying. And Shamrock Particle said, some Modern Who episodes are great, but this comparison is an easy no contest. And I was like, so Twin Dilemma is better than Blink and Heaven Sent? And Shamrock said, never cared for the latter two, but they're deemed popular. Blink has the better monster, Twin has better speeches, but with a dumb monster. And then Tedious Milkshake says, indeed, and DW Fan says, you get it. And then he says, yes to me. Look, guys, I like Twin Dilemma better than most. It's not a very good story, but it has things about it I like. But I think you're just talking mad if you want to try to honestly, objectively tell me that Twin Dilemma is better than Blink or Heaven Sent. I just, no. I mean, you can like one better subjectively, that's fine. That's, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but objectively, no. No, I think you're just, I think that's just some Modern Who prejudice there, which isn't really fair, because I know DW Fan 91 likes Modern Who a lot. Matter of fact, he did a really good video on the Whittaker era, which I made it through. It's about 2 hours and 22 minutes long. It took me a minute to get through it, but I made it all the way through it, and I agree with some stuff in it. I disagree with some stuff in it, but it's still a well put together video. He has a very good professionality that he puts into his videos that I'm very envious of. But I actually really like Blink and Heaven Sent a lot, even though I also think Twin Dilemma is not as bad as some of the credit it gets, even though it's still pretty bad. Shamrock Particle says, one is a semi-educational Doctor Who story, a bit leisurely paced at times. The other is a meta-textual self-parody of the show. Sir Meows a lot, who I haven't seen in a minute. I hope he's doing all right. Says, pretty sure we have done this vote. One of the rare Modern Who wins. Have we done this one? We may have done this one. He says, with that said, of course, 4 to Doomsday every day of the week, twice on Sunday. These earth creatures stuck in their flesh time cannot comprehend the greatness of Monarch. We will use persuasion if we have to. Hopefully, they will be enlightened. That's good. 4 to Doomsday is original, with interesting concepts and a story that has not been repeated in Doctor Who. That's getting rare with New Who constantly ripping off ideas from Classic Who. True. While the modern story has what? Daleks fighting Cybermen, which is cool to see. Even though the Daleks slaughter. Well, he adds that here, more like Daleks slaughtering Cybermen on super duper easy mode. Then it has what tricks everyone into thinking it's a good episode, the Rose exit, which is I don't know about. I like when the Doctor and Rose are first separated by the wall, or the way it's shot to look like they're separated by the wall. That's cool. But the scene at the beach just goes on too long. He said also Nyssa over Rose, both of them. I agree. I like Nyssa better. 4 to Doomsday, Nyssa actually has things to do, saves the Doctor's life, though most companions save the Doctor's life at least once. The Flyattractor says 4-2 for me, mostly because I've seen that one. Pretty sure the Flyattractor's seen the David Tennant episodes for sure. Tardis Spider, another great YouTuber, says, I always lean toward classic. Yes, both have ridiculous moments. Cricket ball in space, Dalek versus Cybermen smack talk. But I like 4 better, so 4 to Doomsday for me. Alisticious says, that's a tough one. One has more than half the airtime, at least it seems like it, taken up by cultural dances of some kind. Those do go on for a bit. While the other has an obnoxious number of 3-minute clips flooding my YouTube recommended pages at any given time. Yes, neither of these is my favorite, though. I think Modern Who slightly edges out Classic here. Because although 4 to Doomsday has great chemistry between the actors throughout, the pacing of the Series 2 finale is much better. Very interested to see the final results, though. Also, on my episodes tier list, these two are actually very close to each other and on the same tier, so I was considering putting the tie button, but that's a cop-out answer. Fair enough. Normally Normal says, I'll go with 4 to Doomsday, even though it's my least favorite 5th Doctor story. He says, sorry. Army of Ghosts Doomsday is a fine story with a very funny scene between the 1 Dalek and 2 Cybermen, but I'd rather watch a 5th Doctor story than a 10th Doctor story. Also fair. Colin Coney, who is one of my top tier patrons, says 4 to Doomsday. It's not the best Davison story, but my issue with Army of Ghosts, etc. is that it ridiculously overpowers the Daleks versus the Cybermen in Part 2. Plus, I hate seeing Daleks flying around in formation like fighter jets. Because modern Daleks are so overpowered and the scale is now so vast, millions of Daleks possible with CGI, it means that the Deus Machina machines are now getting steadily more far-fetched. Yes, that's a huge criticism of mine as well. Very bright, very accurate. For me, Daleks and Cybermen stories work better on smaller scales because to defeat them, the resolutions are more believable. 100% agree. 100% agree on that. I say that too. When you have that many, you have to come up with a way to reasonably beat that many, and it's always like that. I add that here. I said you sum up the issue with the Daleks in the modern series very well. Cybermen too. It says, therefore, for me, the best modern Dalek stories are Dalek, Eve, and Resolution, and modern Cybermen, Villa Diodati, and World Enough in Time. Even though World Enough in Time has to Deus Machina them at the end. And I tend to like those episodes, as I point out here. Lee Carroll says, a rare example of the modern series being better than classic for me. I like 4 to Doomsday, but it's not one of the strongest stories. Good productions on it for the time, though. Exempty says, I very much enjoy Doomsday, whilst 4 to Doomsday is an absolute slog with barely anything redeeming. I love almost every Davison story, but 4 to Doomsday is one of the 4 I don't like. And Naomi says, as much as I love Peter Davison, I love the David Tennant story better. So, a mixed bag in the comments. Maybe more for 4 to Doomsday, but a mixed bag. But in the vote, Army of Ghosts Doomsday taking 66%, with 4 to Doomsday only getting 30%. So, if you didn't get a chance to vote in that poll, comment down below and let me know what you think, which one of those stories you prefer, and why. While I'm here, on an unrelated Doctor Who note, just if anyone wants to stick around for a minute, I did find out that an actor I liked passed away back in December. I just discovered this. His name was James McCaffrey. A lot of people know him as the voice of Max Payne in, I believe, the first 2 Max Payne games. He had a cameo in the movie. But for me, he was in a TV series I liked in the 90s called Viper. I absolutely loved this show growing up in the 90s. I wanted it to come out on DVD for years. I always wanted to own this, and they finally released it just not too many years ago, recently, the past like 3 or 4 years, I think. And I finally managed to get it. I've actually been rewatching it since I found out James passed away. James played the driver of the car in the first season and the final season, the 4th season. It ran 4 seasons. And he played the main character, Joe Astor, in the first season, and then he comes back in the 4th season as well. It's about a high-tech Dodge Viper, which transforms into an alternate mode, which is this silver Defender car that looks really cool. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but check it out, especially if you're a James McCaffrey fan. I just wanted to give a shout out to him, and because I really liked him in that show, and I'm sure a lot of people liked him as Max Payne. So I just wanted to, I don't know, give a shout out to him on that. He was a great actor. Don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you'd like to send me to look at and review. A link to my Amazon wish list is down there. A link to my Amazon UK wish list is also down there. Those are separate things. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you'd like to send me to look at and review. And I have a Patreon as well if you would like to support me that way. I do want to give a shout out to a couple of my top tier patrons, Colin Coney and Perkins. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. It is much appreciated. And most importantly, thank you for watching.